Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly team call for the Vigil agency. This is where we come together for 30 minutes roughly every Tuesday, catch up and whatnot. So today's call is intended to be just more of a temperature check, right? See where everyone's at. And I think it's good that we do that every so often. And I like to do it right before we go into a new quarter specifically, just to see where everyone's at, see what the goals are. And if you've been here for any amount of time, which is basically Brenda and Justine, you guys know that the last quarter of the year is always the strongest quarter of the year. This is the time when all the profit is to be made for the year, right? You got people that are ready to get started or to finish up their resolutions and different things like that. So um, I'll I'll schedule the temperature check, in the calendar from now on, the week before the start of each quarter. So as we move into quarter four of 2025, I wanted to see where everyone stands, how they feel, and just really open, honest, transparent communication. Because again, this is a business that can be fun, this can be profitable, this can be all the things, right? But it can also be hard. Um, it can be heartbreaking. I mean, it can be expensive. It can be a lot of different things, right? Depending on how you look at it. So. If anyone wants to go first, I'm happy to go with volunteers. Um, Go ahead, Justine.
I didn't do as much as I wanted to this last year or even quarter, but I do have some stuff in the pipeline coming up for this quarter. Um, some policy reviews and stuff like that. So hopefully we can, help more clients. I mean, when we came back from conference, something that stuck out to me was, which I already knew this, but it was something that I was like, everybody has a policy through work, but not everybody realizes that if they leave that job, they don't have that policy anymore. So I'm really just hitting up like a lot of my teacher friends. Um, HP is really big here. And so I'm looking at some HP customers to do some policy reviews and stuff like that, just so that way they know they have other options if something were to happen.
No, that's great.
So,
And I'll touch on that real quick. So when you're helping those people look at their current work policy, look at the cost to take over coverage. So, and I was having a conversation and he was a young guy. I mean, he was 35, right? He's like, "Yeah, I got a policy through work." He's like, "But if I leave, the $18 a month that I'm paying now turns into $225 a month." And he was like, I didn't realize that, the policy was that much. So we got to talking, right? And we're going to work on something for him next week. One of the things that we were talking about was an IBC. But I asked him, I said, if you're seeing that now, do you think that you can go and tell your coworkers, right, about that? And then just give them my information, right?
mhm.
And you can give them a referral fee or whatever you want, right? 25 bucks, I think, is the max in New Mexico. Actually, I think it's 50 now, but 25 bucks is always a good solid number, right? Especially if you close a deal or something like that. But just ask for those referrals, guys. I mean, it's a great opportunity. And HP for you, Justine, is huge because
Mhm.
they do have a great benefits package, right? They really do. And that's great, and I always congratulate people. Hey, I'm glad that you have a policy through work, but tell me about something that you own. And if you don't own something, why not? Right? So,
Well, and they don't realize too, like, oh, they think they have this policy, but if they're not on the job and they get into an accident, like their job's not going to pay them that life insurance policy or their family's life insurance policy to them because it didn't happen on the job. And that's a lot of times most companies will like that's in their policy, we'll only pay you if you get hurt on the job or if
right,
you pass away on the job. So, I mean, everybody, you talk to everybody. Oh, I have it through work. That's cool, but have you actually like read your policy through work? Let me help you with that. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't do a whole lot this year. I mean, I did at the beginning of the year, which paid for all of conference and everything like that. And I still have money left over to pay, like to buy leads and stuff, which is nice. But again, it's kind of hard with my 3-year-old and everything. And um, a lot of life changes. My son is really asking to be homeschooled, and so I got to really, reevaluate stuff like that. So, I mean, again, I really try to do warm market because it's easier for me than to actually sit on the phones and dial. Um, but again, I mean, we're at a place now where this is just like extra income for us. So, which is nice because then, like I said, my son wants to be homeschooled, so I'm able to do that for him. So, but yeah, hopefully to finish out the year with some policy reviews and to protect families before the holiday season.
Awesome. I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if it's still going on. I know Turning Point USA was doing free
Mhm.
homeschool materials if you use education as the checkout code. So it's something
Yes.
you might want to take a look at.
Yeah, definitely looking into that one too.
And then Michael, we'll go to you in just a second. But since we have a former um, employee benefits person with Alexandra, um, will you tell us a little bit about what some of those life insurance policies say that you sold through Aflac?
So most of them were life insurance. It was a full package. What I did notice is that most employers paid for it, so it would become like an overload for the employee once they do leave. Um, we didn't sell a lot of Aflac life insurance. We actually sold a lot of accidental plans, and that just covered for any type of accident that they had, it was on or off the job, we started paying $60, depending on how severe the accident is, then we start paying more. Um, it did have a little bit of life insurance. I think it was like 24,000 already included into it, but it wasn't a full life insurance product.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's good to know, right? Because a lot of people think that they're signing up for life insurance and they're signing up for accidental, right? Or that a lot of people think that they're signing up for a lot of life insurance when they buy a group life policy, and it's usually capped out at 2.5 to 3 times their salary. So if you're only making 36,000, I mean, the max your policy is going to be is maybe 100 grand. You know what I mean? So awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Alex. Go ahead, Michael. I know you wanted to go next.
Just jumping on that, I came from Baxter Healthcare where you had both. You had your own life insurance policy, and yeah, Michael, you're right. You can up to X amount of your salary is no charge, but if you want to buy more, you can. So, and then there's another component of it that was anytime on the job, not on the job. And then there was another component where if I was on the job, that was a completely different deal. But the thing I notice is a lot of people I talk to, because I hit that, Justine, I hit that every conversation I have. They have work life insurance, but they don't know how much it is. A lot of times they don't even know what the face value is of it. And I hit them up every time. I ask the question, I phrase it in a question like, but so when you leave your job, that life insurance is not going with you, is it? And they always say no. And to your point, Michael, that 35-year-old, if he leaves the company 20 years from now, it's going to be more than 200 and something dollars
Oh, yeah.
to transfer it over to his own personal policy that he owns. But what I was going to say was, I mean, I got off to a good start and now I feel like I can't close anything. And I jumped into the digital leads and I've gotten 3 of those and I don't even know how to do funnel yet. I still haven't had time, Michael, to jump in and train on it because I got 2 leads within the last 48 hours and one of them I've got an appointment tomorrow at 10. The other one I kind of have a soft appointment at 3 o'clock today. Um, so I just need to close something and I don't. The thing that I think I'm finding most people think they can get their mortgage paid for with a policy. They don't realize how expensive it's going to be. I mean, you got a $500,000 mortgage and you're 55 years old or greater, 67. That's a lot of money. So I've just been trying to really hit home the value of mortgage payment protection, 12, 24, 36 or less.
So let me ask you a question. Are you going through the Mortgage Protection University?
Yes, and I'm not as far along as I wanted, but yes, I go through that, and sometimes I'll look at a chapter or a module that fits, something that's coming or that I just experienced. Yes, I'm going through it.
So this is what I would recommend at this point, Michael. If you can pause your digital order for a week
Uh-huh.
and actually sit down and focus, do your funnel training one, and then two, go ahead and go through Mortgage Protection University. And the reason I say that is because we're at the end of September, right? We got another week, and this submit month and issue paid month comes to an end. What I would like to see you do is get those two things done. That way, when you turn your leads back on, you're fully prepared to be able to handle any of those questions, right? Because what you're running into right now, and I think this is like where Anthony Mendocino runs into a lot of this, and he's great at it, is he goes to equity protection, right? So he may not be covering a $500,000 mortgage. That's what their mortgage might be, right? But he might be covering 250,000.
Yeah.
And just making sure that you're presenting it exactly the way that Chris Leak does in his mortgage protection program, right? Because what I've seen so far is you're booking a lot of appointments. You're booking a ton of appointments, but you're not closing anything, right?
Well,
And
and half of them don't even show.
well, again, part of the mortgage protection training, right, is the lockdown, is the tie down on the appointment. And there's one that I'll be posting here on our team training. But Anthony Mendocino does a tie down training that is phenomenal. And he has like a 60% show rate.
I think I did look at that, and I've incorporated some of that into my tie
Okay.
now.
So you used a keyword right there. I incorporated some of it, right? It's all or nothing, right? If you're gonna do a training, you follow that training as a whole. Because what happens when we come here and we try to innovate what's being taught, then we're not becoming experts in that field. So if you want to become a mortgage protection expert, you have to mimic someone or the training 100%, right? And then you have to, so they said this at conference, imitate before you innovate.
Yeah, you said that before, and I wrote
Yeah.
it down.
And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it all the time, right? And it's just one of those things though, when you become proficient at whatever path you decide to go, then you can go ahead and make tweaks and changes, right? But for right now, in order for you to be successful and to start stacking those wins, I think it'd be perfect for you to just follow one thing and one thing only and stick with that, right? So since you've already paid for Mortgage Protection University, I would stick with that, right? And do
Right.
exactly as it says in the training. And then that way next week when you turn on your leads, you've got your funnel set up and then you've also got, the Mortgage Protection University. Um yeah, so and I think that's what I would say, Brenda. I don't know. Do you agree on that? Yeah, perfect. All right. Who wants to go next?
I will. Um, yeah, I kind of got derailed by all the things, but I feel pretty good on where I'm standing for coming back into the game of things. Have potentially already three applications for sure this week, possibly four. So that feels good, especially after the last month that I have had. So yeah, just gonna try and carry that through the next couple months.
Perfect.
And then be more adamant on the funnel side of things. Like I was telling Michael about it was I'm still definitely dabbling between switchboard and funnel, so I just need to let go of a switchboard completely and only utilize funnel. That's my challenge to myself.
So what I told you guys probably heard Joe Timachu before, right? And then Michael Matthews. I was talking to them this past week, and I was like, guys, you got to cut the umbilical cord. Like, we're no longer there. We're now on funnel, right? Like,
Like I feel like it's my little like choopy. Like
yeah.
I just let it go.
And it is hard, right? It's hard because you're comfortable with it, but the
Mhm.
longer that we avoid something, the harder it becomes, right? And it takes longer for us to adapt. So that's where And you guys can look it up, the diffusion of innovation theory. And you're like, what the heck are you talking about, Michael? Like diffusion of innovation was one of those things that I studied in communications when I was a communications major in college. And it talks about how quickly do you adopt new ideas? Are you an early adopter? Are you an average person? Or are you a laggard, right? And when you're a laggard, you're going to find that you probably lag behind in everything in life. When you're an early adopter, you're probably much more successful, you're entrepreneurial, different things like that, right? And when you're average, well, that's you're average, right? So if you want to get good at business, if you want to be the best in the business, it's best to adopt practices early. It's okay. Some of those practices are going to suck. They're going to fail. Like you're not going to like them. But it's not as many. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, right? It's about how many times you get back up. And Brenda, Justine, right? Like how many times have we tried something new that Symmetry has rolled out and we got 100% behind it and we fell flat on our face? But at the end of the day, we know that it was in our best interest, right? And it's like, okay, we move on. And I can name a handful, just, Quility RX, right? Social media training with Harris guy, you know, LUL. We'll just leave it at that. LUL, because this is being recorded. Um, there's been a lot of different things like that we've had, but we adopted them, we spent money on them. But the things that everyone else is having success with are usually the things that everyone else is adopting early as well. Just like Forrester's Live Well Plus. Matt Avila, if you watch this, because I know you watch the replays, brother, please start doing Forrester's Live Well Plus. That advantage from Forrester's is not going to get you anywhere. But like we have a new product, right? For debt-free life, for infinite banking. Guys, that application is simple, it's fast, and it's instant issue or instant decision, right? Like it those Advantage Plus plans, 6 to 8 weeks is what it's taking, right? So that's part of being an early adopter, right? So being part of that, you want to be part of the innovation. You don't need to be the innovator, just be part of the innovation. Sound good? All right. Alex, Omar, you guys gonna go together separately?
We can do separate.
All right.
Um, so how are we feeling?
Yeah, where you at? How you feeling about, the last quarter and what you want for the next quarter?
I'm feeling okay. It's been pretty hard, but I am feeling hope. That was my word for today, feeling hope. It's been rough, but last week I did have like a very emotional day, which I promised myself that I wasn't going to happen this week, so I'm ready. I moved to the home office, so now I'm at home working from home. I have like everything set up. My goal is 500 calls this week and 9 appointments. So I even like set it up. Omar might be mad, but like all of my no post-it notes are in there. That's tracking. So I'm excited. Omar and I prayed today too. Our first time praying together, which was amazing. So yeah.
Couples that pray together stay together. That's huge. And Alex, I'm proud of you for making that decision because, going to the office was part of your routine, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember this is a home-based business, right? Like we lose so much time on that commute. I mean, what is it for you guys? 18 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
It was mainly the distractions. I had
Yeah.
friends everywhere and let's go on a walk and let's do this. And I miss them, but we can see each other on the weekends.
Yep. And that's what I was going to say, right?
Sorry.
Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that stacks up. But then by the time that you walk in the office, you say hi to everyone, right? Like that turns into 30 minutes. So you think about that every single day. That's 2.5 hours. And if you guys were on the training from yesterday with Scott Schnitzer, right? It was 168 hours, right? That's what we have in the week. So I mean, if you think about that, right? I mean, you just lost 2.5 hours on that part out of your 168 every single day. So now you get that back. So you can also be what's you can go for a walk and listen to a call now, right?
Yep.
Without a distraction. How many times do you do that, Brenda? I mean, I know you used to before you couldn't, before you were hobbling along, right? But, I do it all the time. My walk pad is literally right here, right? Like it's under my standing desk. And, stack those different things together that'll help you, right? So now instead of that time in the car driving with Omar, you can take that 10 minutes and do your personal development reading in that 10 minutes time, right? So like there's a lot of cool things that can happen from that. So I'm proud of you for making that decision,
Thank you.
making the commitment for 500 calls. I still haven't seen a activity report since the last time we talked. Um,
Oh, I'm doing that. Can I send you these? I'm doing them on paper because I don't have a printer here.
yeah, that's what I told. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, I'll send
Yeah.
you these. I don't have the template itself.
And I'll show you guys another one at another time. So Omar, it's your turn.
What's up, Michael?
How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Are you at the gym?
Nah,
Oh,
it's been I've been up since 4 though, so it's been one of those days. I'm pretty good. Right now I haven't been working many of the south side. I help Alexandra out a lot with it, and even though I don't really like focus on it, most of what we closed is it's what I've been able to bring in. We had a good conversation with one of the top lenders here in Denver on Friday. This guy's closing like over 100 deals. Most of his clients are true believers in what he says. If he says jump, most of them jump. So we made a partnership where he's going to be sending everything over to us right after closing to get mortgage protection. So we just set that up on Friday. We just got out the business cards to him. We sent him a couple emails, few documents with information and all of that. I also met with another top agent yesterday. He's also closing I think he's on track for like 130 deals this year. So I'm also trying to get something put together to where he refers everything on his end. And then I'm working on the recruitment. So right now I have one more that's going to be joining the pre-licensing, I believe, by this weekend. Um, and yeah, so right now I think we did have a few little hurdles here and there. I've been busy with the real estate as well. But I feel that I've been a lot more focused on this side of the business as well, especially over the last 2 weeks. Um, Trying to join more calls. I've been meeting with Eddie, probably every 2 days. And just the whole accountability side, right? Also pointers and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think this next quarter is going to be great. I think we've been able to fix a few loose ends that we had. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident to be honest. And yeah, and as Alexandra said, last week she had a tough day. We sat down, went over a few different things. I think there was a few things there that were getting to her, and we were able to hopefully find a solution to them. So yeah.
okay, awesome. So one thing I will say, and sorry, I'm just making a quick note so I remember, is I've seen a much bigger presence from both of you guys on social media, right? I saw your video
Oh yeah.
yesterday, Omar, right? Different things like that. That helps. It's huge. It just helps get the word out. And the more that you do it, the better that you become at it. And uh and then the more people start to trust you, right? The more content you have out there, the more people will trust you. So great job
Yeah.
on that. And Alexandra, I'm going to talk to you on this for a minute because we've all been there. Every 130 in the company will say it. Every top producer will say it. We have all had those days where we want to quit,
I
right?
haven't.
Brenda, what was that jump for?
I think I'll have those days, extra S on the end,
Oh
like
yeah.
time, which week, which day.
And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. That's the thing.
Nope.
Like it's gonna happen. You guys have all seen the entrepreneurial graph, right? Like, oh, I love this. Damn, this sucks. Oh, I'm doing so good, right? You get slightly above and then you fall down. And that's how this business is, right? It's peaks and valleys. As long as you're making progress, that's all that matters, right? What the journey looks like in between, when you spread that line out over 30 years, it's going to look linear, right? Or it's going to have a slight upward trajectory. But like in the now, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, and it sucks. And that's okay. It's okay to have those days. It's okay to have those feelings. Just remember, don't quit on yourself. You can quit on anything else that you want to, right? Just don't quit on yourself. Because that's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur. It's the hardest thing about being self-employed is when you're relying on yourself to produce an income and you don't yet have a team that can, it gets really, really hard. But then
It's
when you
funny
have a
that.
team, oh, go ahead, Brenda.
Oh,
And I
oh
was
no, it was me. Oh, sorry. You could go ahead, Brenda. We both talked
No,
at the same time.
I was just gonna add into what Michael said, and I think it was Jordan Hunt has said it before, and I don't remember if it was at conference or where he said it, but he always says, "I'll quit tomorrow."
Yes.
Because then, like, like today, sure, you're in your feelings. We've all been there. We've all wanted to quit. I don't know how many times I've quit before, but if tomorrow you're in a different mindset, like you're in a different mood, whatever it to be, to where like, okay, like if I feel this same way tomorrow, then tomorrow I'll quit. And usually 95% of the time, then you're in a different mood or a different feeling or different everything else, and then you won't.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually get that video. Um, I'll share it here in just a second because I found all the conference main stage videos.
Nice.
We need a link for all of those. I'll go back and rewatch them all.
Yeah, I'm putting them on the website, which I'm going to show you guys here in a second. Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you said that about, quitting on yourself and all of that. I know she didn't quit on herself, but I saw doubt in her on Friday. And I think it was just a quick reminder of why are we doing this? Like, I believe she was getting too attached and that was bringing her down. And I just told her, we can't be attached to the results of any costs or any days. At the end of the day, all we could do is keep going. It's the next one. And that's pretty much it, right? I mean, why are we doing it? And if we don't come first, I mean, it's not going to get us nowhere.
Nope, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was telling her, I was like, right now I'm going through a rough patch in real estate because 3, 4 months I've been trying to juggle both, the insurance and the real estate. So I dropped something on the real estate, wouldn't push it on the insurance. And I think over the last month, I had to sit down and think for myself and okay, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do it? How much could I dedicate to it? And focus on that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it's gonna be. How much could I what's the word I'm looking for? How much could I um man, I'm thinking in Spanish.
What are you thinking? Tell me.
Basically, how much am I willing or what am I there it is. What am I committed to doing myself, right? What could I commit to and what's going to happen if I don't commit at the end of the day, right? Because if I don't commit, well, obviously we're going to hit those rough patches. So I think that's one of the things that I personally did myself and I've felt really good ever since I had that conversation with myself about 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I mean, we're pushing.
So there's something that Kyle says all the time. It's something like your success is going to be directly related to how much you're willing to ignore, right? Um, and what I was saying back to, like top producers, they want to quit, because their production is solely based on them. But then you start to build a team and it gets good, right? But then what happens, and this has happened to me probably 5 times already. We had a girl many years ago who wrote a bunch of fraudulent business. I caught it immediately, and it affected me and it affected Matt Avila. And it affected us big time. $90,000 in total commission between the two of us that we had to repay, right? And then we had it happen again and again and again, right? So it doesn't just happen to us, right? To top produce, it happens to builders as well. So that's why you have to constantly be growing and evolving. That way, when you do have a $10,000 chargeback as an agency owner, right? You have a large enough team that it doesn't even make a dent in what you're receiving, right? So it happens to everyone. It just depends on what stage of life you're in. The last thing I was going to do real quick, guys, is show you this, and then we'll end pretty much on time. But if you go to the Vigil team now, it looks very similar in terms of the homepage, right? It's got a new navigation on top. But when you click on start here, it will teach new agents on the basics, right? So literally videos on how to set up Sure LC, how to request contracts, how to write an accidental policy on yourself, how to enter an application into Opt, how to purchase leads in Opt, Navigator, right? How to use Navigator and how to find it and then how to use it, right? And then you click on the bottom there, then it's got phone training, right? So and these aren't all done yet specifically, but the first page was and then the other one is going to be the help page, and this is the one that will have everything, right? So again, it's not quite done yet, but the basic how to is the phone, right? Leads, and I talked about this on with the accountability group earlier, what each lead type is and what it does, and what the close ratios are like, finding the right policy for field underwriting. They're all going to have videos on that, right? Running the appointment itself, managing your schedule, right? Getting good at this, FIF resets, digging deeper, and then not quitting, right? Because that's always something we have to think about. We have to talk about, right? And then when you get to the bottom of that last one where it says, don't quit, if you still want to quit, call or text Michael, right? So and then that way we'll have that conversation. So yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out throughout the week. A surety's been sent for Alex and Omar and Harry, but sometimes it takes home office 30 days to send that paperwork out, just because it is still a paper. It's literally a paper that you have to hand sign. It's crazy. So, but just so it has been sent out. And then once that's done, then you guys will be able to have access to their contracting team and whatnot to be able to call in. Because when you do group quotes, just for those of you guys that are looking to do group, you have to get a census, and then you submit the census to the underwriter at home office, and then they'll give you the quotes. And they'll even do the presentation for you, right? So like all you're going to do is get the census from the company. You're going to send it to a surety or Mutual of Omaha or National Life Group. And then if you want, they'll call and do the presentation for you to the company. That way you're not having to worry about it. They'll do the enrollment, everything like that, and you still get the same commission that you would otherwise. So just remember, what group life insurance is like. It's a fraction, right? But you're getting a fraction on a bunch of people all at once. So all right, guys. Well, guys, ladies, if you need help throughout the rest of the week, please feel free to reach out. Don't forget tomorrow's National Call Wednesday. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.